Mehul, thanks for walking us through sort of the philosophy of scheduling and optimization options. Another thing that is worth talking about, we've spoken a lot about sort of one job for one technician to a certain extent. We also deal in slightly more complex scenarios, and I think that relates to project work, relates to crew work. Why is this something that we've invested in?
So a lot of our customers, they end up having just complex scenarios where they have to deal with work orders. So these work orders may require multiple steps in order to get done. Think about an installation scenario, or think about a shutdown scenario, or even just an average work order, which might require multiple people on it, because you're working with pretty complex assets here. We have customers that range the gamut from oil and gas to healthcare to complex electrical equipment. So we need to be really mindful of how these work orders need to be connected to each other, how appointments need to be tied in that sense.
And could you walk us through maybe some of the options that we have available for more complex scenarios?
Yeah, so let me go ahead and start off with this first one. It's around project scheduling. This is something that we introduced a little while ago, and the idea was that a lot of times for these complex installation scenarios, the people that are doing the work are these field service folks, and those are very fungible resources that sometimes they may be working on installations, other times those resources may be working on preventive maintenance requests, depending on the ebbs and flow of the business. So what project scheduling allows you to do is import a project, and then you can execute against it. You can, let me go to this next slide over here. So you can, I guess to take a step back, you would author the project in a Microsoft project or a Smartsheets or something to that extent. And then you import that file into Service Board, and then you can do the necessary steps from there. You can assign the tasks to the resources, which is what is being shown over here. You can then publish this so that it generates the work orders in ServiceMax directly and the appointments that are tied to it. And of course, once those are generated, there's inevitably changes with project schedules. And so you want to be able to monitor the completion of work or be able to make adjustments to those. And so you can do that all with the project management module over here, the project scheduling module. So that's kind of the first thing that we put into place. The second thing we started, and this goes back to listening to our customers that we heard about quite a bit, was, well, I don't always have these Microsoft project files, but in a lot of cases, I just have these 3 or 4 work orders that need to be tied to each other in a given sequence. So what I want to be able to do is take one work order and create the dependencies that are tied to this. So you now, as of this last release, you can create these dependencies within Service Board, get them to be visualized within Service Board, and then when you schedule them, it will help you. It will, going back to the decision support element, it won't allow you to schedule the second work order until you've made sure that the first work order is in place. So that's the whole idea behind dependency scheduling, where you can take small subsets of orders, let's say 3 to 5, it might be even more, and create the dependencies and then be able to schedule those. So that's around work order dependencies in general between project scheduling and then work orders that you already have in place. The other thing that we've also had in place for quite some time, and some of our customers are using this pretty effectively, is around crew management. A lot of this came from my experience in working in the electric utility space, where I saw how crews were being put together and how they needed to be able to rotate on different days, but still be assigned work. So that's what we did with crew management. The idea is that you can create these shells, and within the shells, you can assign them work. Different work can go to different crews, and the crews themselves can be populated by different resources on a given day. So you can have on day 1, you can have resources A, B, C, and then on day 2, it could be resources A, D, and F, for example, that need to be part of that crew. So this is something that's also available today. And I'd just like to point out, it's also something that ties in with our mobile application nicely. So those are the capabilities that we have around the complex scenarios today.
So complex as it relates to project, work order dependencies, and of course crews, more than one person working on something.
That's right. And there's also multi-assigned capabilities, which I didn't share in this set of slides, but that's also available for customers and is widely used.